Hey, it's Birdman for Birdman on the Mountain, hanging out here once again at the Pinetop Coffee House. I've got with me Mike Moffenbier. How are you today, sir?
Good, Rob. How you doing?
Good. So, just recently we've had some heartbreaking things happen here.
We sure have.
Small town. And I know both of us have lived in large areas and now live in a very smaller area. I've lived in even smaller, believe it or not. Yeah.
Wow.
Like where, everybody was doing each other's laundry, not just knowing what it is. But we had a head-on collision with a couple firefighters.
Yeah.
One of the firefighters was a girl who has a 10-year-old daughter. Who actually was at the Summer Nights Festival, so we were both at.
Yeah.
And she was handing out water bottles, which one of my kids has. So these things are that connected when you're in a small town.
Very much so.
Let's talk about some of the other differences. I don't want to dwell on that. We certainly are grieving because of that and honor and respect that. But let's talk about some of the differences between, like, big cities. Where have you lived?
I've lived in Kansas City. I've lived in Tampa, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, Austin, Texas. All of those places before I came here.
Yeah, so we both did Atlanta.
Yep.
I was actually in the outside of Kennesaw, but dealt with it every single day. So what are the primary differences you feel?
I mean, it's just the sense of community and the connections that you make locally. You know, being able to have very intimate conversations with friends and families that we're connected with, and even other businesses. To get to know their business and kind of understand what drives them for success, or when they're having challenges, you know, how we can help them get back on their feet sometimes when they need a little bit of help. And as a member of the Chamber of Commerce, that's something I try to do every single day. But just as a member of the business community in general, try to help people along when they're struggling and try to celebrate successes of the people that are scoring big.
Yeah, and I know in larger communities or, metros, you'll have isolated incidences where it doesn't affect, like it's not the same. Where here, we can have literally the same problem. Everybody's having the same problem. So not only can you give your perspective on it, you can get other perspectives.
Yeah, there's no question about that. And whether it's, the drought we've been experiencing recently through last winter and this summer has affected a lot of local businesses in terms of tourism, or whether it's something that's more specifically isolated to them as a result of, whatever their business model happens to be. How do we help each other? And I think that's the thing I love about living where I'm living right now, is that there's such a sense of community here and such a sense of, people really wanting to help each other. If you see somebody, suspicious walking down the street, it gets reported. In a larger community, a lot of times that might not even happen. People drive by with blinders on because they're focused on, getting to their metro destination. Here it's a little bit different.
Yeah, and not only do we have suspicious people, we now have bears.
Yeah,
so as the drought has increased, I got to tell you, having been up here for quite some time now, this year bear reporting. Couple things. One, you're getting better reporting because of the Ring cameras that people are put out. So you get more camera views of what's going on when people don't normally see it. So they see the activity when they might have happened in the past. So maybe we're not getting more bear reportings, but we're certainly more aware of the bears. Let's put it that way.
That's a fact. People come in my shop in many days and they're like, how come they carry their trash in here from Chick-fil-A or wherever they happen to be in the valley and dump it in my trash can? And they're like, how come you guys don't have any trash cans outside? I'm like, well, I live 2 blocks from the forest. And I can drive down this street any single day and see a bunch of trash cans knocked over, and we know why.
Yeah.
It's because they've been hit by our friends, the bear.
And then, of course, if you try to grow things, we have bunnies that eat all of our tomatoes before they get to be really tomatoes or watermelon or anything else. So
They sure do. And whether it's bunnies or deer, we have a large infestation of deer this year. And I think, with some of the fires that have happened in the area, it's driven some of those animals, whether it's elk, deer, skunk, or bear, closer to our community.
yeah. So, okay, so talk about a little bit about being a coffee shop. Of course, that's the quintessential place that I think it's replaced the water cooler, because people used to talk about the water cooler. Up here, we don't really have corporations for water cooler, but this is where sort of community conversations happen, don't they?
Oh, they sure do, and it's really interesting. We do a event once a month called Coffee with the Council. So we bring a couple of council members in here. They answer questions from the general community. People love coming in because it's a relaxed environment. There's no pressure. You don't have an audience. You don't have cameras on you, so people enjoy coming to that. Also, just in general, we've seen a huge change in our population up here. We've got a lot more retirees. So in the afternoons, we'll see groups of ladies and gentlemen coming in, just sitting around tables and having conversation. And what I love about that in this town is that you don't see people with their phones out, just sitting across the table from each other, doing what they do on their phone. They're literally having conversations with each other, face to face, looking each other in the eye. And they'll sit here for an hour and a half or 2 hours sometimes, enjoying a cup of coffee. It's a very engaging environment for people to be able to do that.
Very cool. Anything else you want to mention about big life or big city life versus small town life?
I think it's just, it's a reality that living in a place like Pinetop, Lakeside, is differentiated largely by the population and the care for one another. And, I just like to recognize the fact that there are so many connections that have been made, not just within the four walls of this coffee shop, but within the confines of our town that are very, very special to us. And I think very, very special to the people that have made those connections. So that's the only other thing I'd have to say, that I didn't really feel that. I've probably a better circle of friends in Pinetop Lakeside than I've had in any of those large communities I've worked at. And I know if my car breaks down, I got a whole list of phone numbers I can call.
There you go.
That
or
will show up.
They'll just stop anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
So, hey, so you want to be part of the conversation, come on down here.
Yeah.
It's Pinetop Coffee House and Roasting Company. And say hi to Mike, or his wife Linda, or your puppy dog.
Faith.
Faith, you betcha. Hey, I'm Birdman. This is Birdman on the Mountain, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Rob.